This is the story of Gabriella Dixon, a young mom of two who was determined to provide a better life for her two young children. Things take a dark turn when she found herself trapped in an abusive relationship with Reginald Harris, the father of her children. Gabriella reached out for help through posts on her social media, hoping someone will hear her cries. Then one day, she disappeared without a trace, leaving everyone shocked and worried. Reginald denied any involvement in her disappearance, but as detectives start looking into the case, they uncovered some disturbing details. Gabriella's child shared a heartbreaking account of what might have happened to her mom, leaving everyone haunted by the mystery. Now, everyone's asking, what really happened to Gabriella, and what is Reginald hiding? Welcome to Viral Crimes. Subscribe and hit the bell icon for more stories. This story takes us to Macon, Georgia, a charming city known for its southern hospitality and rich history. In this very city, a heartbreaking tragedy unfolded, leaving a community in turmoil and a family searching for answers. Gabriella Dixon, affectionately known as Gabby, was an 18-year-old resident of Macon. She was a devoted mother to her two young children. Gabby's bright spirit and loving nature endeared her to those around her, earning her a reputation as a caring and compassionate individual. Despite her young age, Gabby was already taking on the responsibilities of motherhood with grace and determination. She was deeply committed to providing a loving and nurturing environment for her children, putting their needs above her own. Gabby's children were her world, and she cherished every moment spent with them. In addition to her role as a mother, Gabby was also known for her resilience and strength. Despite facing challenges in her life, she remained optimistic and determined to create a better future for herself and her family. Gabby's positive attitude and unwavering faith inspired those who knew her, leaving a lasting impact on everyone she encountered. Gabriella was in an on-again off-again relationship with Reginald Harris, her ex-boyfriend and the father of her two children. Gabby and Reginald had been in a relationship for some time, during which they shared both moments of happiness and periods of turmoil. However, reports indicate that Gabby suffered from domestic abuse throughout the relationship. On the morning of October 30, 2023, Gabby dropped off her children at their grandmother's house, a routine she followed regularly. However, as the day progressed, Gabby failed to return home or make any contact with her family. Concern began to grow among her loved ones as hours passed without any sign of Gabby. As evening fell and Gabby remained missing, her family's worry turned into panic. They knew something was wrong and immediately reached out to local authorities to report Gabby's disappearance. The Bibb County Sheriff's Office was alerted, and an investigation was launched to locate Gabby and unravel the circumstances surrounding her vanishing. During the initial stages of the investigation, attention quickly turned to Gabby's ex-boyfriend Reginald Harris. Reports emerged detailing a history of domestic violence between Gabby and Harris, raising suspicions about his potential involvement in her disappearance. Harris was known to authorities, and his troubled past with Gabby cast a shadow of suspicion over him. On November 16, 2023, a significant development occurred in the case when law enforcement officials, with the assistance of the Criminal Analyst Unit and Monroe County Sheriff's Office investigators, made an arrest in connection with Gabby's disappearance. 19-year-old Jatarvius D'Angelo Price was apprehended at a residence in Juliet, Georgia.
Yes, sir.
He was identified as a person of interest and charged with making false statements and tampering with evidence related to Gabby's case. Additionally, Gabby's ex-boyfriend, Reginald Harris, was also taken into custody on unrelated charges. Harris faced multiple charges, including tampering with evidence and family violence, stemming from incidents prior to Gabby's disappearance. Despite not being directly charged in connection with her vanishing, Harris's arrest underscored the troubled history between him and Gabby. As the investigation progressed, disturbing details emerged about the dynamics of Gabby and Harris's relationship. Reports surfaced of multiple incidents of domestic violence. In September, just weeks before Gabby's disappearance, Harris allegedly engaged in violent acts against her. One incident involved him following Gabby's car and firing shots at it, endangering not only Gabby, but also their two children and her current boyfriend. Another altercation occurred where Harris reportedly choked Gabby and threatened her with a gun, prompting law enforcement to advise Gabby to obtain a restraining order.
It's now been a week since Gabby was reported missing, possibly last seen by the father of her children, Reginald Harris III. Bibb County law enforcement tells us he's in custody on domestic violence charges against Gabby. At this time, the incident is being investigated as a missing person case. They say at least until evidence that a homicide has occurred is confirmed.
I feel like Bibb County failed me. They failed my daughter because they're doing nothing.
Gabriella is the mother of Gabriella Dixon.
One of the neighbors called my telephone and she stated Monday night she saw a guy getting rid of items by a dumpster. Also, the guy had a car and they saw somebody laying across the back seat and looks like they were just wrapped up in a blanket. She said it initially looked like a body to her, so she didn't want to make too much of it.
The next day, Gabby's mom says police were on the scene.
There was bedding and clothes that was found in the dumpster that had blood. There was blood found in his apartment. The police did remove items from his apartment, the bedding.
The father of Gabby's two children first said he dropped Gabby at her father's house on Friday.
Then he changed his story.
Gabby was reported missing on Monday.
We received text messages. He told us, let me see my children and I'll tell you everything you need to know. To me, you're getting ready to confess and tell me what happened. I'm angry, and he calls on a recorded line. When you're calling collect, it tells you the line is recorded. So the police know what he's telling us. I just wish they would go do something about it.
Gabriella's mother says she has proof of a text Harris sent his current girlfriend.
He said, I need trash bags and bleach. Let me tell you something about the guy that I once loved as a son. He's not cleaning up anything.
Adding to this mother's suspicions, if Gabby is dead and if Harris was involved, others may have been involved as well. Then, chilling words from Gabby's daughter.
She's 2, but she's very smart. She's seeing Gabby laying in blood.
A couple days ago, she's telling me other things. She's stating that Reggie shot my Gabby.
I would like them to at least say where the body is to put it to rest. I would really like that, because I just feel like she's not at peace.
Prepared for the worst, still praying.
Maybe we should ride to Alabama and look. Maybe we should drive along the highway and look. And I think that's what we're gonna do next. We're just gonna make a trail and start making our way to Alabama because he has family there. Who's to say, after it happened, they drove to Alabama and disposed of her body because, hey, who's gonna look there? Bibb County is not.
Gabriella made a series of posts about the abuse she suffered at the hands of her baby's father on her social media account. She posted, "He would hit me. It started when I was 16. The first time he did it, he apologized and said he snapped. It would never happen again. I didn't tell anyone because he was my first real boyfriend. My first true love. He knew to shower me with gifts because I came from a family that only had enough to make sure we had what we needed. He knew that I was the black sheep of the family, so he listened to my problems and always offered for me to come run away to his house. He knew that I didn't experience much, so he made sure to introduce me to things so I can always have that first time moment with him. He knew to show just enough interest in me, but not too much. To keep me chasing him because he knew I craved attention. He knew I was shy and more introverted, so he encouraged me not to have friends and that we would be each other's friend. He knew I always had a hard time at feeling pretty, so at first he made me feel more beautiful than anyone else ever did in my life. Then he made sure to point out my biggest insecurities. Then he would never compliment me, so I stopped feeling confident in making an effort. He knew to always be a charmer to my family, to make sure he always looked like a good young man. He came to church with us faithfully, to every event. He would come over just to sit in the living room, and when we had our first child, he didn't leave. So everyone loved him and he did no wrong. When it started happening more frequently, I didn't really process it. It felt like a dream, like I was one of those wives in those movies. Afterwards, I would think, this can't be happening to me. I'm only a teenager. Maybe if I keep crying and stop fighting back, he will stop. It didn't help that by now he had completely isolated me, so I had no one to vent to about this. He was my only friend. My relationship with my mom wasn't great because I always ran away. He encouraged me to argue with her. And as for my siblings, he knew that I didn't have relationships with them, so he took advantage by further dividing us by forming bonds with them. Making me seem like the bad person to get advice on how to deal with me. It even got to the point that he was so close to them, they wouldn't even tell me, their blood sister, that he would cheat. At first he would apologize and love bomb me, but then he just stopped pretending to feel bad altogether. I didn't leave bruises, so what proof do you have? He would tell me. You over-exaggerating. I barely touched you. Nobody is going to believe you. After everything I did for you? I've been the one there for you. If you leave me, you the one that's going to be without. The girls need a 2-parent household, get over it. We got kids together. You going to ruin my life. I have to be there for them. So I accepted it. Why tell anyone when I don't have proof? I have kids now and they needed their dad in their life. I'm already a statistic. I don't want to further hurt them by growing up without a 2-parent household and having daddy issues. He's a provider and makes things easier. I can get over temporary pain. It started to get worse, from hitting to beatings to choking to being held at gunpoint with the threat, I'll do you, and then me. Somehow he managed to never leave bruises. I wanted proof so I could get away from him. He was obsessive. He always showed up to my place. He would use the kids as a pawn to manipulate me. This was very unhealthy. I felt trapped. I would cry for my mom, hoping one day she will notice my isolation and try to talk to me about it, but it never happened. No one did. I couldn't blame them though. I didn't speak up about what was happening. This was the first time he left any kind of proof. This was also the first time I called my mom for help. She came to get me. My eye was swollen for a week. My head was hurting terribly, any light hurt. I had blurred vision. I now have a permanent scar on my eyebrow. I tried to move on to get him to understand that I didn't want to be with him or have nothing to do with him. He waited until I got dropped off, and as soon as I heard the screech of his tires and car doors slam, I ran. I didn't even attempt to go to my apartment. He chased me down like I was prey and beat me. He parked his car and chased me down again and beat me some more. He even got inside of his car, left and came back and beat me again, leaving me with a concussion and bleeding. I was wet because it had happened outside. He had taken my phone and I was knocking on multiple neighbors' doors for help. One finally came and I called the police, which did not show up, and also my mom for help. She seemed to be annoyed because it was 4 a.m. My little sister was with her and she didn't show concern either. Overall, my whole family is still friendly with him. My family does not care, but I am learning to report him. This situation really did it for me. A nurse was so nice. She talked to me and gave me her number if I ever wanted to talk. He got me flowers and a balloon after I left the hospital. He had never given me flowers after he hurt me. That's when I remembered a poem I read and knew I had to leave. These disturbing incidents shed light on the abusive nature of their relationship, highlighting the fear and danger that Gabby may have endured during her time with Harris. Despite the challenges she faced, Gabby's love for her children remained unwavering, as she continued to prioritize their safety and well-being above all else. Harris's father, in a statement to the media, acknowledged the turbulent nature of their relationship, but insisted that his son was not involved in Gabby's disappearance. However, Gabby's family remained skeptical, steadfast in their belief that Harris held vital information about her whereabouts. Despite the arrests and ongoing investigation, Gabby remained missing, leaving her family and community desperate for answers. Vigils were held, and search efforts continued as authorities worked tirelessly to uncover the truth behind Gabby's disappearance. Despite the lack of closure, they remained steadfast in their determination to find Gabby and bring those responsible to justice. Gabby's parents, Gabriella Searcy and Daryl Searcy, alongside her siblings, poured their hearts and souls into the search for Gabby. Their anguish was palpable as they pleaded for any information that could lead to her whereabouts. They tirelessly organized search parties, distributed flyers, and utilized social media platforms to raise awareness about Gabby's disappearance. Despite facing unimaginable uncertainty and fear, they refused to give up hope, clinging to the belief that Gabby would be found safe and sound.
We're doing what we've been doing for the past 32 days now, searching.
Through tall bushes and debris, Dixon's mother, Gabriella Searcy, gathered family members and friends to scour the Macon area to find her missing daughter.
I have no idea what's going on. So as you can see, it's just us searching. There's no help from the police department, with this search.
And when it comes to the police, Searcy says they're still investigating, but haven't kept her in the loop. She last heard from the Bibb County Sheriff's Office 2 weeks ago, when there was an arrest made on Reginald Harris, the father of Dixon's children. Harris was arrested on 4 outstanding charges, including aggravated assault, but not in relation to Dixon's case.
Do you just ignore a parent or ignore a loved one if they report that their loved one is missing? You ignore it for a couple days and then you go search?
Dixon's older sister, Reginae Dixon, said it's a sad and stressful situation, but they're not giving up. She's been taking care of her sister's kids, and they want their mother back.
We're not going to give up until we find her, even though the investigators and the mayor and the sheriff department, they're getting frustrated with us and everybody's telling us it ain't got nothing to do with them. We're not going to give up, even though we're basically solving the case ourselves.
Through determination and a strong sense of community, Gabriella's family said they'll search until the end of the world to find her, and they're praying that she's healthy and safe.
So if Gabby is somewhere being held hostage, we love you, we miss you, we want you home today.
Gabriella's stepfather, Daryl Searcy, expressed his anguish and frustration at not knowing what had happened to his daughter. He lamented the pain of not being able to provide answers to Gabby's two young daughters, who constantly asked for their mother. Daryl's heartache was evident as he spoke of the void left by Gabby's absence and the torment of not knowing if she was safe. Similarly, Gabby's mother, Gabriella Searcy, grappled with a whirlwind of emotions, from heartbreak to anger, as she tirelessly advocated for her daughter's return. She expressed her frustration with the investigation's progress, criticizing law enforcement for what she perceived as a lack of urgency in finding Gabby. Gabriella's anguish was compounded by the knowledge of Gabby's tumultuous relationship with her ex-boyfriend, Reginald Harris, whom she believed held vital information about Gabby's disappearance. During court proceedings related to the case, tensions ran high as Gabby's family confronted Harris, the prime suspect in her disappearance. Emotions overflowed as they demanded answers and justice for Gabby, accusing Harris of withholding crucial information about her whereabouts. Despite facing Harris in court, Gabby's family remained resolute, refusing to be silenced until they uncovered the truth. In their desperate quest for answers, Gabby Dixon's family took extraordinary measures to incentivize the search for their missing loved one. Offering a $5,000 reward for information leading to Gabby's whereabouts, they hope to encourage individuals with vital information to come forward and assist in the investigation. Additionally, they extended a $1,500 reward for tips that would help shed light on Gabby's disappearance, demonstrating their unwavering commitment to finding her, regardless of the cost. Through their unwavering determination and relentless advocacy, Gabby's family rallied support from the community, drawing attention to her case and urging anyone with information to come forward. Their tireless efforts underscored their love for Gabby and their commitment to finding her, no matter the obstacles they faced. Gabby Dixon's story is a somber reflection on the tragic events that unfolded and the profound impact it has had on her loved ones and the community at large. Gabby's disappearance is a reminder of the vulnerabilities individuals face and the devastating consequences that can result from acts of violence and abuse. It's evident that what happened to Gabby shouldn't have occurred. Her disappearance has left a void in the lives of her family and friends, leaving them grappling with uncertainty and grief. The pain of not knowing her whereabouts and the circumstances surrounding her disappearance weighs heavily on their hearts as they continue to search for answers and closure. In hindsight, there may have been measures that could have been taken to prevent this tragedy. Recognizing the signs of domestic violence and taking action to intervene early could have potentially altered the course of events. Heightened awareness, education, and resources for individuals experiencing abuse are essential in preventing similar tragedies from occurring in the future. What happened to Gabriella Dixon shouldn't have happened. It's truly heartbreaking when someone goes missing, especially under such distressing circumstances. It's even more tragic knowing that she experienced abuse and felt unheard in her cries for help. No one should ever have to endure such suffering alone, and it's a painful reminder of the importance of listening to and supporting those who reach out for assistance in abusive situations. My condolences to her friends and family. May you continue to heal and one day find peace. Thanks for watching and I will see you in the next video.